is up, everybody? Treadmill talk time. Here we go. So, also, I want to give a disclaimer. I might cuss in this one. I'm not sure. It's not going to be out of anger. It's just going to be because I'm a little fired up, in a good way though. So my friend, who was having the problem with the drugs, is having a solid week. He crushed it this week. He's putting it together. He's taking it to a whole new level right now. I'm really excited for him. So this is going to be awesome. But it makes me think about how we are as a society sometimes. And I want to tell you all, every one of you, you have infinite potential. Infinite. Nothing can stop you. The only thing that stops you is yourself, your limiting beliefs, and other people around you. That's it. And it might sound, well, yeah, that's it, that's everything, but it is everything. And when you can reverse those things, you will get to where you need to go. My friend and I, we had a really deep talk, and we were talking about how he told me I don't judge him. He goes, the one thing you never do is you never judge me. You come from a place of love, and that makes me feel like I'm capable of doing things, and it makes me feel like I can do anything. And that's the way it's supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel like you can do anything, like you can conquer anything, like you can break through any barrier that is put in your way. That is the way you get to where you need to go. And I think a lot of times people will overextend, overshoot themselves. They're worried about failures. They're worried about not looking good. Here's the thing. Everybody's got to remember this. And do your very best to remember this, because this is very important. Control what you can control and fuck everything else. And that's it. That's the plain and simple. And this is why. You're going to have doubters who are going to tell you you cannot do things. You're going to have people, yourself is going to tell you that you cannot do things. But as simple as those words are, it's very difficult for people to do. Very difficult. Sometimes people don't even realize that they're not doing it, or they're judging other people for not being able to do it. Think about this. This is how funny it can be sometimes. You look at someone who has their moral. They have a moral skill set, a moral compass. And their moral compass gets tested. And they make the wrong decision. Not only are they going to judge themselves and beat themselves up, other people are probably going to judge them and beat them up as well. Who's winning in that? Who is winning in that? No one wins. And plus, I can guarantee you, if a person's not ever put in a difficult, compromising position, and they become put in a difficult, compromising position, they're probably going to morally make the incorrect choice. They have not built they haven't built the base to deal with something like that. And that's all it is. It's the same thing if you put someone in the weight room and they can only bench 100 pounds and you tell them, okay, now go bench 300 pounds. How are you going to be able to do that? You can't just think through that. And that's what control what you can control means. That's what it comes down to. And too often people try to bench 300 pounds knowing they're going to fail, knowing it. Control what you can control it's much more complicated than what people give it credit for. Because they think they can control everything. But you can't. You can't until you train into it. You have to train into that situation. I remember while I was talking to my friend about this, he goes, I used to judge people who were on drugs. And now I'm fighting this battle, and it's a tough battle. And I go, that's all good, brother. Because you know what? We're going to get you in a place where you are running so fast and doing things so tremendously, not only will you stop judging people like that, you won't only stop judging people like that, but you're going to inspire people like that. You won't have the time to judge people. Like when you're functioning high, you don't have the time to judge people. You just don't. You're too busy doing and being. But those steps take work. This is not an overnight thing. This doesn't just happen one day where you go, hey, just don't judge anybody, brother. Like, no, that's not that easy. It's not that easy. And this is where it gets funny. When he told me that story, I understood it. I let him talk. I didn't judge him for judging, because sometimes people do that too. They're like, I can't believe you judge people. Well, I'm going to judge you for that. Like, look, we're all in this together. We're all trying to figure it out. And when a person figures it out, holy crap. All that happens is they just lift other people up too. That's all that happens at the end. People lifting people up. Becoming strong together. This is not an easy process for anybody. It's not. But it's a fulfilling process. It's a process that's absolutely worth it. And it's a process that either you can take that or you can have a miserable, dark life. Like, that's kind of the truth of it. Either you can feed into the process and go, I'm going to do the best. I'm going to do a little bit better today. All right, I'm going to do a little bit better the next day. I slipped. That's okay, because I can do a little bit better next time. Wow, this is awesome. Feel that? Breathe in deep for me, people. You guys feel that? That's life. That's life coming into your body. It doesn't get any better than that. There's not a drug more powerful than that. When you allow it to be there. When you go all in. Go all in to the greatness that you are. And if you're feeling kind of inspired and kind of pumped up right now, you can turn this video off and go do what you need to go do. Go make your greatness happen. Because greatness doesn't just happen from listening to me. Greatness happens from the actions that we take. I tell you, when I was working with him and I saw this fire in his eyes, I could see the fire in his eyes. I can hear it in people's voices. I talk to a lot of my clients on the phone, and you can hear it in their voices when they really start believing in themselves. Full force. All in. They cannot be stopped. That's what it comes down to. But then you have to practice that. It's moments. These are moment by moment basis. This is not an easy process. Just as a caterpillar has to become a butterfly, that is a process. It takes time. You cannot say, just go grow wings and go fly. It's not that easy. And the same thing's true for humanity. These processes, they're not the easiest processes, but that's okay. They're the most fulfilling processes. I think that's what people have to put into consideration. It's got to be fulfilling, not easy. Easy's not fulfilling anyway. Honestly, how often do people sit down on the couch watching Netflix for 12-hour days knowing they haven't done anything for themselves, knowing it, and saying, well, damn it, I didn't do shit. But you got the opportunity. You always have tomorrow, but make tomorrow today. Control what you can control. Very simple words, very empowering words. Very empowering words, because whenever I talk to someone, whenever I have a new client, that is the most important thing I have to get them to realize first. And also be willing to look at your demons. You got to be willing to look at your demons. And sometimes they're ugly. And sometimes they're really dark. But the thing is, you can't move forward until you look at them. And people will say, well, then I'm going to be moving backwards. Sometimes you got to move backwards. Sometimes you got to pivot. Sometimes you got to do what is necessary to get you to where you need to go. And you know what? I'm going to be cheering you and rooting you the entire way. on the entire process. Even if you let your demons take you over, I'm going to be believing in you. I'm going to be supporting you. I'm going to be hoping for the best, because I know when a person is in the right sense and they are empowered, they can't help but to do right by other people. And you cannot empower people by judging them, by being overcritical, by breaking them down. This does not mean not to call them out on their bullshit, because you have to do that too. There's times they have to be called out, but you call them out in a place of love. Call them out in a place of love and let them know, this is what you're doing. We got to change it. Honestly, my friend, I tell him what's up all the time. He knows it's coming. And he actually appreciates it. It fires him up. Because he knows I'm coming from a place of, look, we can do this, brother. We can do this. This is your time. This is your time. But I need you to believe it too. There's people I've actually had to walk away from because they're so dark and so just clogged up. And it's not good for either of us. Because sometimes that darkness tries to feed on the light. It tries its best. But the truth of the matter is, if they're not ready, they're not ready. And there's times when people aren't ready. But all I need is a little bit. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to break through. Because I get off on the feeling of helping people achieve their greatness. Achieving the best they can do. And it's not me doing it. It's them doing it. They have to do it. They got to put the work in. I just guide them on the steps. You got a person on the steps, watch what they can do. Watch the greatness that they are. And I mean, it's empowering on both ends. It's really, really cool. It's like every time I listen to something, every time I do something, every time I think about something, I think about it in the greatness that is everybody. You know, like we all have that special potential. We all have something special about us. And sometimes we get caught up and we beat ourselves up, or we beat other people up, or we just give up altogether. We just don't want to do anything anymore. And when a person's in that kind of state, there's a way to really get them out of that. There's a way. And if you're listening to this right now and you can relate to it, there's a way out. There definitely is. But it does start with taking responsibility of it. The second you take responsibility of it, and the second you grab hold of it, and you say, it's time to put in the blood, sweat, equity. It's time to put it together. Watch what you do and watch how good you feel. I'm walking on this treadmill right now. If you haven't walked on a treadmill for a while, or you haven't done anything physically exciting for your body, haven't given your body the moment to embrace and really live in this journey that we're given. Because I'll tell you all, we all definitely have two things that are happening. We're all going to live and we're all going to die. So you get to choose. What are you going to do with your body? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with your mind? What are you going to do with your spirit? What are you going to do with your soul? Are you going to live to the fullest, or are you just going to let it die out? That's your option. You get the choice. And again, and I'll say it over and over and over again. It all starts with controlling what you can control. Going all in on that. If you can only lift 5 pounds, you can only lift 5 pounds. If you can only lift your body weight, you can only lift your body weight. One step, then the next, and then the next. I think too often we hold these high standards that are so high that one, you can't even reach them, and then others can't even reach them on top of that. It's like, why hold the bar so damn high? We don't do that for kids, yet we do that for our spouses. We do that for our friends sometimes. We do that for our family members. We hold this super high bar up, And then when they can't make it over the bar, we go, what the heck? Yet a kid gets a step-by-step basis. They get love no matter what. Do that with adults. Got to do that with adults too. It's just like, you got to love people, and then their full potential is going to come out. Now again, I think this is very important to say, because I don't want people to twist these words around. That love does not mean to enable. That's not what that means. Something very different and something much more empowering than that. It does not mean to just sit back and let people do what they're going to do. That is absolutely not what it means. It means you are going to go all in on that person. All in. 100%. And sometimes people need to get divorced. Sometimes friendships need to be broken. Sometimes family members need to be walked away from. That is true. Because there is that enabling process of when you're both in such deep toxicity with each other, it's not helping each other grow. It's only breaking each other down. It's making things worse. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for anyone around you guys. So sometimes you have to walk away. But don't walk away from a vindictive point of view. Walk away empowered. Walk away knowing this is really the best decision to make in a loving stance. Not vengefully or angrily or hurtfully. And I know that's hard. But again, I'm going to say the same thing again. If you can't do it, I'm not going to judge you. I'm just going to wish you the best. I'm just going to wish you the best. Because maybe you got in over your head. You didn't know what you were doing. And you're not going to respond or react accordingly. That is a possibility. But I'm going to believe in you, and I'm going to hope that you've learned the lessons that you need to learn, and you're going to keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward, and if you have to take a few steps back, take a few steps back, and then start moving forward again. I know the greatness that is in you. I'm telling you. I've seen what people can do, and it's amazing. People do some of the most amazing things, and it does start with the belief system. The belief system has to switch, and it starts with controlling what you can control. Because I do a lot of research on the successful, but I think it's also important to do that same research on the unsuccessful as well. I think too often we know what to do, but sometimes we never learn what not to do. And so we follow the trend, we look at this is the blueprint, this is what to do. And then you feel, I can't reach that. It's this impossible thing I can't get to. But if you see, this is what to do, this is what not to do. Sometimes your best friend is just doing what not to do. Sometimes that's just the position that you have to be put into. It's like, listen to some of the way these monks speak. And they speak from a place of power. It's really, really insane. Like the simple things of being in the moment, controlling what you have. It's very easy to get yourself into a guilt-ridden cycle and just break yourself down. And constantly break yourself down and make yourself weaker and weaker. And that's because of judgment, honestly. It all starts with that judgment. Look yourself in the mirror, be honest with yourself, and then when you are, it's time to get moving. No, you can't mess that up. You can't, because think about it this way. Let's say you start at the lowest of lows. Everyone just hates you. Everyone knows, like, wow, this guy, I don't want to be around this guy. He's a party pooper, he's this and that. Worst case scenario. Just that person changing a little bit, watch how people will actually try to lift you up. Watch. If you're that person, I hope you're not that person. I hope there's no one here who's that low. But if they are, just a little bit, just give a little bit and watch what happens. Watch how people are good, man. I tell you, people are just really, really good. And they're really, really bad too. Like, that's the weird contradiction of it all. I try and give people my best. I try and give them what I've got. And they reciprocate it. Like, it's the coolest thing. And then they say, wow, not everybody's like you. If only everybody was like you, but you are like me. Just say, like, it's kind of weird in a contradicting way, but you are just like me. We are just marrying off of each other. That's all it is. So if a person comes at you and is kind of a jerk off and you become a jerk off back to them, like, that's what you do. The one thing I'll give myself credit for, you come at me like a jerk off, I'm probably not going to come at you like a jerk off, and that has some merit, I know. But again, I've been doing this since I was 6 years old. Since I was 6, I've been practicing my craft. And so you can't possibly expect someone else to do it that easy. And I like playing mediator sometimes, I do. Just showing people on both sides. Honestly, some of these political debates, I love listening to them. And you'll see these far left-wingers just boom, swinging at people. And sometimes not even realizing it. And my big thing is, what I love is the challenge of it, though. It's just to say, like, if I can get them to see how I'm thinking by seeing how they think, then they might see what I'm seeing, if that makes any sense. But it goes off to, sometimes you can get so far in front of yourself that you want to help everybody. And I commend that. That's awesome. But at the same time, you do have to focus on you. And it's like saying, if you're in a house and there's 100 people in one house, things are going to get ugly. Like, I don't see anyone being okay with a situation like that. People are going to get heated. People are going to get frustrated easier. People are going to, and I think when people see things like that, on a perspective like that, that's what they're saying. Not necessarily, please do not get into political debate with me on this. I'm just speaking on a trend of emotion. It's like if you come at it a little bit differently, come at it from a way that we can all see. I know no one wants to be in a house with 100 people. That would drive me batty. And I'm a pretty patient guy, so I could only imagine what would happen to the impatient. Like, I just think it would get kind of ugly. And that's where that balance plays in. Balance and control what you can control. When you have balance in your life and you do enough and you stay persistent and you're consistent, watch the greatness that you can do. And the best part about it is, if you want to make a change, it is important to make the change within yourself. You don't make the change outwardly. Too often, I think we try to make this change outwardly and it doesn't work that way. But keep wishing my boy luck. We're going to keep holding it down, one step at a time, and we're going to keep moving. And for those of you who are watching this, I hope you keep moving as well. Keep doing great things. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.